get this party started. You start thinking about the NFL and this running game, and you start thinking about the NFL greats. You got decades of running backs that are sitting at this table. It's about what we all have in common. It's about life. The NFL has brought this talent together because without the NFL, the talent probably wouldn't have a place to display itself.
Oh, what a run is right!
The commonality and the thread in there is going to be very consistent because you don't make it to the National Football League without having some of the fundamentals that we all share. That's hard work, that's dedication, that's a vision, and the drive to get to this place. All right, fellas, NFL is celebrating 100 years of football this year, starting with the Super Bowl and celebrating it all the way through next year. Now, you guys have been a part of the game. 100 years is a lot of football. Yeah, decades of football. So we have 5 of the best at this position in the running back position. I mean, starting with decades before us. Then I'm in the middle, transitioning to you guys. Yeah. So what does it mean to you guys to be at a table like this when you have Hall of Famer?
Hands off the Zonk, heading right side. Touchdown, Larry Zonka.
Hall of Famer.
Touchdown! Whoa! Did he do that?
Myself.
Oh, what a run by the league's MVP!
And you.
LaDainian Tomlinson, one step closer to football immortality.
You soon to be. Soon to be. You just got to say, I quit.
He breaks the tackle, and Adrian Peterson is loose.
For me to be here, it's a privilege. I looked up to you guys growing up. You know, like you guys were the ones that inspired me to be great. Even on the way over here with ED and LT, I'm sitting there, I'm just like, man, you know, like 2 fellow Texas guys, you know, you got Emmett, you got Larry, you know, that I'm about to be at this round table with. It humbles you, you know, and it makes you just appreciate the process and the grind that you went through. So for me, man, it's just like, man, it's like God, you know, God picked me. You know, he picked me too. You know, I'm one of those chosen few.
Adrian Peterson, rag Dallas Cowboys for a Minnesota Vikings touchdown. The best running back in the NFL.
There was something about the running back position that we gravitated toward as a young person. And for me, it was seeing Walter Payton.
Walter Payton becomes the National Football League all-time leading rushers.
My dad always had the Chicago Bears game on. It was something about Walter Payton running the football that I was drawn to. And if you think about it, throughout the years, there's a reason why our position is always going to be beloved. You know, because I think people realize what it takes to be a running back. When you take that football behind everybody else, you got to get through all those people, and it takes special skill. And that position has always stood out to me. That's why I wanted to do it. And then throughout the history, seeing Larry's highlights, you know, obviously growing up, you know, seeing Jim Brown's highlights, you know. But it does, like Adrian said, it does inspire you, you know, to push forward. That it was me, I had to take the torch from what you guys did, you know, and kind of carry it on.
Charger fans are witnesses to history!
Then Adrian did the same thing. As I was transitioning out, he took the torch as the best back in the league, and he ran with it. And so I think we all kind of feel obligated to continue this position and make them say, this position will never die. It will never be forgotten about.
I agree. I think each guy at this table is what I remember about each guy. You know, Larry, I don't know why I remember the face mask you wore with that, like, hoop thing, right?
Keep people's fingers out.
I remember this.
Zonk was carrying people literally and physically with him. What a beautiful run.
You know, with AP, you know, I remember when I met you, you know, you went to one of my favorite schools, OU. You're a breakaway runner, you know, kind of reminded me of myself, and did the same thing in the NFL.
You can stop him, and you can stop him, and then all of a sudden, there he breaks one.
Emmett, I used to like you watch you in college at Florida. I used to brag about you. They're like, man, he too little. I said, man, he can run the ball, man. He can run the ball.
Welcome to the Emmitt Smith era of Florida football.
And then I saw you play at TCU, and I always wondered why you didn't go to SMU. We talked about that.
Here's LaDainian. For 15-10, they won't catch him.
When I was in high school, I wanted to play running back. They wanted me to play tight end, because I was tall. I don't want to play no tight end. I want to be a running back, The position of running back to me is a position where, you have to be confident, because all you know here is when you getting hit, they talking to you. Yeah. Like you say, rookie, hey, you ain't getting no 100 on us today. When I broke OJ's record that Sunday, we played against Houston Oilers. And man, it was some cursing and going on out there. you ain't gonna break this record. I will never forget. It was me and Bostic as a safety. I told him, MF, I'm gonna break this record on y'all's ass today.
He's got it, and a brand new single-season rushing record for the outstanding star from Southern Methodist.
Larry, who was the player that influenced you in the game?
The one I snuck into the stadium to watch when I was a kid, Jimmy Brown.
Considered by most experts as the greatest fullback ever to play the game, Jimmy's harder to bring down than a wild steer.
Of course, we were up in the nosebleed section. That was also the baseball stadium, and my gosh, it was super high. We were so far from the game that the ushers didn't even bother chasing us. We just left us. From up there, you can actually see the setup. You can see how it develops, how the linemen work it, how he would tremendous power, but yet the ability to shift and cut on a dime. He had tremendous balance. You look at Bronco Nagurski's and Jim Brown's, great running backs, all in their own style. But if I had to pick one player, one guy that was a running back and say, okay, this is a guy we're going to build a team around right here, I think I would pick Walter Payton.
Let everything hang out.
He was the most team-oriented person I've ever been around.
Dickerson right up the middle. Touchdown, Eric Dickerson! Let's go!
Touchdown, Evan Smith. LT broke a tackle. Gone! Touchdown!
Stay tuned. AP, baby, rookie of the year. The only one can stop you is you.
What's your first memory of coming into the National Football League?
As a college all-star, college All-American, we did the Chicago All-Star game. We lined up against the Green Bay Packers in 1968. They had this middle linebacker named Ray Nitschke, who was probably not the prettiest person you've ever seen. But I had seen him literally destroy people on a football field for 10 years. I'm looking up to Beebe, and he's calling, checking out, turning around, and as he turns around, he opens up, and I'm looking right at Ray Nitschke, and Nitschke's standing right there looking at me. Sort of like new meat, in a butcher department. And I'm eyeball to eyeball with him. I thought, this is pretty cool. So he smiled. When he smiled, he had no front teeth. Then he stuck his tongue out and wiggled it at me and went, come on. And I ran a dive right straight at him, put my shoulder in him, hit him as hard as I could. I heard the air come out. I know I got a piece of him. And he patted me on the back, said, that's real good, rookie. He said, you come back and see me again, okay? And I thought, I don't want to see you anymore.
How about you, E.D.?
John Robinson had told me, he said, that week that we were going to scrimmage the Cowboys, he said, Tom Landry said that you would make a good pro. You ran too high and that he didn't think you'd last. And I couldn't wait to play against the Cowboys. I couldn't wait to have this scrimmage. I would get on the field, practice about the scrimmage about to start. I get in the huddle, and they start calling plays, and all of a sudden, I couldn't remember any plays. I'm that nervous. I couldn't remember anything. So Vince Ferragamo called a pass play, and I'm like, what do I do, Vinny? What do I do? He said, you got the outside linebacker. I'm like, okay. I'm like, man. And then they call another play. It's a running play. Like they call one of my favorite plays, 47 gap. I'm like, what do I do? He said, you getting the ball. I'm like, oh, man. So, I could not remember a play for nothing. So they called another play. I just left the field. I went to my coach, to the sideline, to my running backs coach. And I said, he said, what's wrong? I said, I can't remember plays. So that was my first, kind of image of having a football moment. But it was in a scrimmage.
How about you, Abe?
Well, for me, it was against the Chicago Bears. And I never forget standing there in the backfield, and I'm looking at Urlacher, and I'm looking at, Bridge. I remember being nervous going up against those guys, too. Chicago defense, strong defense. I remember bouncing outside, and when I tell you they were pursuing hard, Urlacher nailed me. Boo!
No chance! Urlacher tracks him down!
And Bridge came and They dig me into the dirt at Soldier Field. They was like, come on, rookie. Welcome to the league. Welcome to the league. So fast forward to the second quarter, I kind of was getting into my rhythm. Urlacher, he came to try to hit me again. I lowered my shoulder. And like you said, I just heard that come out of myself. I think I got him this time. Yeah. I remember getting up, and he kind of nodded his head. Was like, okay, okay. So for me, that was a good moment for me. Ended up having a pretty good game that day.
Hand off Adrian Peterson, and there he goes! Touchdown!
A gritty piece of running by Adrian Peterson.
How about you?
Yeah, so my moment came my first mini camp. Get to the first practice, and we don't got on pass or anything. It's shorts, shells, helmets. And the first play, I'm supposed to block Junior Seau.
I cause havoc. Whether it's a receiver, a running back, or an offensive lineman, you're definitely going to have to deal with Junior.
Soon as the snap came, Junior comes right through the A-gap. And so I got to try to avoid the quarterback. And I'm thinking, all right, we don't have on pads. So I'm going to fit him up, just kind of put my hands on him. And Junior ran through me. He knocked me back and just kind of looked at me. It's like, first round rookie, we'll see. And so Coach said, get back in there. We're doing the same play. And I'm like, why are we doing the same play? This man is crazy over there.
Exactly.
And so, same play, Junior's doing it again. And I said, okay, I got to earn my respect right here. And so as soon as the snap came, I went full speed at Junior, and I lunged into him. And I know I got him. Great collision, and I earned his respect. After that, he kind of said, you're going to be okay.
Wow.
What about you, man?
What about you? Man, I tell you, my first game was against Junior Seau now.
Number 22 in white, Emmitt Smith, the Cowboys' first-round draft pick, in the lineup for the first time, and Smith touches the ball.
I had 2 carries for 2 yards. And man, I was like, this is crazy. And Junior they were popping.
Oh, yeah.
Popping.
Yeah.
And so you learn quickly that NFL stands for not for long.
Yeah.
But you have to make the adjustments.
Yeah.
You definitely have to make the adjustments.
Gets it. Oh, he's still going. He's going to score. It's a touchdown. Emmitt Smith does the impossible. How sweet it is.
He now moves into the 10th spot all-time. He is now in 5th place all-time. Moves into 3rd place on the NFL rushing list.
Emmitt Smith has eclipsed Walter Payton as the NFL's all-time rushing leader.
You've done some amazing things, and longevity, being available and dependable. What was the secret, you think, to your success, Emmitt?
Well, I don't have a true answer for that outside of God's grace and mercy, because I stayed away. I didn't have the big injuries. Longevity, consistency, all of those things are very, 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 very important to having a long career. You don't get to be in the 13, 15, 10, or 11 years in the National Football League without being consistent, because they would shove you out if you're not that good. When I look at it and I think about myself, I always pinch myself and say, how? How did I make it?
We're all motivated in the beginning of our career, but yet late in your career, even in Arizona, you were still putting up numbers.
Right.
For an organization that has lacked credibility, today the Arizona Cardinals stepped up and they hit a home run. They bring in the NFL's all-time rushing leader.
What motivated you at that point?
I just love the game. I really love the game of football. And you're right, after 13 years in the National Football League and playing with the Cowboys and winning the Super Bowls and all those kind of, and at that time, I was all-time leading rusher.
Yeah.
I felt like I could give more. But then I come to realize, why do I need to give more? I've given all I can.
Yeah.
Tim Brown said something to me, probably one of the final games I played. He said, just because you can doesn't mean that you should.
Yeah, great wisdom.
And you know what? Right then and there, I said, I'm done.
I'm done.
I'm done.
Let me ask you this. After the first year of retirement, did you wake up with any ghosts
No.
No? Didn't bother you? Didn't feel like you were missing something?
No, I think I had closure.
Yeah.
I think I got the closure that I was looking for. I think we all need to have closure from this game, knowing and being satisfied with what you've been able to accomplish. And that's why when I sat and look back and reflect over the years that I played, been to Super Bowls 3 times.
First NFL rushing title to win the Super Bowl. It's the first time for everything. I told him. Not only did he go, the first one to win. No better man deserves it.
I was MVP and won. I was the league MVP. I've been to Pro Bowl. I became the all-time leading rusher.
The torch is passed. Long live the king.
I had closure, so the only thing that I could make up in my mind was the only thing left for me to do now is get hurt. Really get broken up. Yeah, I don't need that. So I'm done. So that for me, that's the kind of closure that I was looking for, and I got that.
You had one of the greatest runs, for a point there in the history of this game.
Cuts inside, out to the 30, 35 to the 40, to the 45, to the 50, down to the 35, down to the 25, down to the 10, 5, touchdown, Eric Dickerson, 85 yards.
What was the secret to your success?
Well, Emmett said it best. First of all, God. I mean, I'm a big believer in God, and this doesn't happen for me. Things like that don't happen for me. I'm from a small town in Texas, with 2,000 people, 50 people in my graduating class. And, I kept hearing, you hear all the time, even when I went to SMU, he can't make it in college. He good now, he can't make it. He kept playing on college football. Eric ain't that good, man. They hyping him up. And they get to college, my first year, I struggled in college. See, told you can't make it no college, man. He ain't that kind of player. I got better and better.
Dickerson trying to get outside, cuts up to the 30. He's at the 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown! He did it! 34 yards for Eric!
And then I won't forget when I got, I was up for the Heisman, my senior year. Man, Eric ain't win no Heisman trophy. Come on, he ain't that good. You keep hearing that, but that motivated me because, I knew how good I was when that draft time came around. Once again, man, they ain't gonna draft Eric playing on football, man. Come on, he ain't that good. Yeah, playing on football. When I got drafted, second player behind John Elway, they gonna see how good, because you hear this stuff. It comes out of, in the time, small time, it comes out. And, my first year, I played, I had some games, and I was struggling a little bit in the beginning, but, after the season, it was like, once again, he got lucky, 1,800 yards. Man, that's luck.
That's a nice piece of running, showing you, look at this and take that. That's fun to watch.
Heard that. Then I came back in, had 2,000. Then it's funny. But he just ain't my kind of back.
Yeah.
Ain't my kind of player. run to, ain't my kind of player, it's just
always something.
That's always something.
That's the bottom line right there.
So many people said you can't do it, or he's not that good. You hear all these negative things, and then when you do it, then people got to stand back and say, well, maybe so.
Thank y'all for sharing these stories. We're about to shut it down. So, but before we do, I want you to tell me who you think is the next man up. Who's the next back that you see in today's game, the next man up?
McCaffrey on the slice, bust through.
Really good job of reading the hole, finding the crease, putting your foot in the ground, and using the speed.
An inspirational run.
Now, LT said it earlier, he transitioned to pass the torch over to you. Mm-hmm. Who's the next man up from your perspective?
Whew, that's a hard one. It's a hard one, because there's so many great young backs in the league right now. You got Ezekiel Elliott, you got Todd Gurley.
Gurley to 10, Gurley to 5, Gurley paid Ertz. Touchdown Todd Gurley, touchdown LA.
You got guys like Alvin Kamara. You got Barkley. He's probably one of the best athletes I've seen.
No one's gonna catch Barkley. 78 yards for the rookie sensation, Saquon Barkley.
Whew. It's tough. I really think it's up in the air, but I think any one of those guys, they have the ability, guys who want to hear the next 3 to 4 years, however long I play, to be able to grab that, snatch that.
Right.
So it's hard to answer now.
Years, however long
he threw that caveat in there. He's not ready to let it go yet. Guys, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure to spend time with you guys and to chop it up. Be blessed and be safe.